Ed, if I asked you a question, how many people do you know in your life that are overweight?
Hmm.
If you had to like rough estimate of a percentage of of your friends and people you know who are overweight, what's the number?
I think it's a small amount. I think there's
Really?
three or four of my friends that are over it. Well, I don't have many friends, but I think three or four of them might be overweight. I'm not talking about, extended family, etc. I'm talking about people that I chose to have in my life. Three or
Hmm.
four.
Okay. And extended family and everyone who's acquainted with you, everyone you know, like from your neighbor to your neighbor's dog
I could
to the guy who you saw once at work and never saw again. All of these people, like if you had to give me a rough estimate of how many people do you think are fat, like from your life?
15 to 20%.
50. Wow, that's actually not a lot.
I think
Um,
the circles that I'm in are relatively more health conscious than the average persons.
you know why that is, right?
Do enlighten me, Jad. Why is that?
Okay. So just to give a little bit of a backstory to our viewers and listeners, um, me and Ed, we were both fat. Now I was much bigger than him. Ed, actually, how much did you weigh when you were like what 20, 19,
Yeah,
18?
at
How
my
much did you weigh?
peak weight, my heaviest, I was 107 kilograms.
107 kilograms. And how much is that in pounds for our American friends here? I'll calculate it for you. 107. That's about 240 pounds.
Yep.
Now, I my peak weight during I think it was back in 2007, 17, sorry, 2017, I was about 130 kilos, which is about 300 pounds for you American viewers. And within the span of 2 years, I lost half of that. And I became like about 75, 73 kilos. Right now, I'm very thin. I just joined the gym and I'm trying to do this health transformation, which is the reason why I talked to you and I wanted to do this podcast today, is because I think it's important to show people that it can be done. I was 130 kilos and right now I am half the man I once was. Now, I'm too thin, which is bad. And let's talk about this for a sec because I was thinking about this last time when I was fat. When I was 130 kilos, people respected me because I was huge, right? Like I was just taking up space. I was there. And they just had to deal with me just being there like a big bag of fat shit. And they just had to deal with me. There's no other way. I was there. I existed. You gotta deal with me. I'm big. Work around it. Now I'm skinny. And anyone can beat my ass. And that's not fun. So, which is why I started to go to the gym. Yeah, I'm gonna start documenting my my fitness journey on Twitter. I'll link my Twitter account below the like button. Um, and yeah, so it's really nice. Even though the gym is kind of expensive, that's fine. But I am getting there. Now, how did I lose weight? If you're gonna ask me that question, because I didn't when I lost, I went from 130 kilos. Right now I'm, let's say, 70 kilos. I didn't do any surgeries, nothing. Um, I didn't take any medication that made you feel sick and like you didn't want to eat. I don't know what they're called. Nothing of those. No surgery, no medication. Actually, it was quite simple how I lost weight. I just got my heart broken and I just stopped eating. So for anyone who's really fat out there that really wants to lose weight, My advice to you is get out there and get your heart broken. And maybe then you'd be motivated enough to lose weight.
I need to raise a point here, quite important, that sometimes the opposite would happen when you get your heart broken, right? So you would be more inclined to laze about and wallow in your own sadness while eating a tub of ice cream, watching romantic comedies, right? Like that's
Dude.
some people. That's how some people deal with it. I had my heart broken as well, but I used it as a positive experience in my life to reshape and reassess my priorities and my body. Um, the way I lost weight was it was over a shorter time period, but that was due to extreme health conditions that I had to deal with. I had a
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I had a hole in my stomach. For all you viewers, I don't know if you know what a hernia is or an ulcer, but I had two ulcers in the hernia, and I was internally bleeding into my stomach. And the doctor said, "Listen, if you don't stop your eating and drinking habits, you're gonna fucking die." And I didn't want to fucking die, so what I did was I cut out alcohol from my diet. I cut out loads of sugar. Basically started eating like a healthy human being. And then I moved to the Netherlands and I biked everywhere and I started working out. And so I lost 30 kilos, 33 kilos in the span of 9 months.
Mm. 33 kilos in the span of 9 months. So that's like on average per month, that's like 5 kilos
It's
per
like
month,
through
6 kilos per
4 kilos
month.
a month, 3.5 kilos a month on average, which is extremely unhealthy. But I realized that I needed to put
Oh,
my body through a shock to um, so that I could get to the body shape and weight that I wanted in my life.
hmm. Now, unfortunately for me, actually, or should I say, fortunately for me, I didn't have a medical death scare, right? I actually lost weight pretty unhealthily too. I lost like 50 kilos in a year, dude. I went from like 130 to an 80 within the span of a year and 2 months, 3 months. And I didn't exercise. My life was pretty much sedentary, right? I just stayed seated all the time. I just didn't eat. That's it. Now that's not healthy, and you shouldn't do that. And if you're watching this and you think like you can fast your way to lose weight, that's not gonna. Oh hey kitty, that's not gonna happen, right? And if it does happen, that's probably gonna leave some pretty bad health implications later down the line. Like I was missing a lot of vitamins and minerals. My doctor said, "Hey man, you need a lot of supplements," uh, and I got my supplements, and right now I have a good body. Still working on it. But hey, I digress with this. Let's talk about obesity worldwide because I was reading this article the other day about this island next to Australia. It's called Nauru. Nauru. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. Nauru. It's a country that has been destroyed by mining. They mined the land. They took, I think they were mining phosphate or something. I don't remember. But they pretty much made the land agriculturally infertile. So the people couldn't plant anything. So they had to export all of this food from the United States, everything packaged and processed foods, right? And now, if you look at the statistics, 81% of people living in Nauru are are either obese or overweight. 81%.
It's crazy.
And you want to know what's even crazier? Being fat there is actually seen as a sign of wealth. Like if you're fat, people think that you have money. And I was thinking about this like what? So everyone's rich there? you know?
It's like the
I
1400s
don't
all over again.
yeah, yeah, dude, like everyone. And I wanted to talk about this because fast food, right? McDonald's, I'm looking at you, Burger King, all of these junk food that they shove down our throats with advertisements and stuff. Um, I didn't do this test intentionally, but it just kind of happened. I was fasting for 18 to 20 hours. I don't remember why I was fasting. I don't remember the reason, right? I just remember I was fasting, and then I broke my fast with a McDonald's meal. I ate McDonald's. And then after that, I remember I had to drive 2 hours to my village to spend the weekend there. And as I was driving, I just felt bloated all the time, full, right? Like I was bloated and full and hungry at the same time. All these three, right? Hungry, bloated, and full. It's kind of like my body's saying, all right, so you fed me something, but I can't do anything with it, right? You need to give me some nutrients. You need to give me something that I can work with, that I can break down and turn into energy. And I remember this so well. For the next 2 years, 2 years, sorry, for the next 2 days, I felt bloated. I felt like shit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna have this shit again. Because the food that they feed you, first, we gotta talk about something here. We gotta talk about them adding stuff to the food that makes it irresistible for humans. And it's the three S's, right? Salt, sugar, and saturated fats. These three. These three were not really found in nature that much. And I'm talking about like not the natural sugar you find in orange juice and fruits. I'm talking about like processed sugar. Maybe cane sugar. I don't know if cane sugar is a part of it. But if you add these three ingredients to your meals, you will make it irresistible for the person eating to stop eating or not to like it. They're gonna like it because it's got these three ingredients. And so what these companies do is that they put all of these ingredients in their burger and fries, and it gets you addicted to the food while at the same time you're still hungry after you eat and you're not really satisfied. So you go back for more. And then you go back for more, and then you go back for more, and you think like, "Oh, I'm eating, right? I'm eating. I'm getting my nutrients." Ah, no, you're not. You're not getting your nutrients. You're eating, but your body's telling you, "Hey, like this is not good. I don't know what you're feeding me, but I need something else." Right? That was my experience with it. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop eating fast food. Like this is bad. I'd rather make rice and like a chicken breast at home than go out and get a burger at McDonald's, right? See, that's my story. And when you look at people in Nauru, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name again.
Nauru, maybe.
Nauru. Yeah, probably. If when I look at the people there, they have everything is packaged, everything is processed. They don't have local food. They have to import everything from the United States and Australia. And we all know what people in the United States and Australia eat. They eat shit, and they're importing that shit over to this island. But these people in this island, they don't have another source of food they can just get, right? There isn't any. There's none. That's it. That's all you get. It's fast food and processed food, which is why 80% of people are overweight.
Well, when you look at Nauru as a case individually, what you can extrapolate from that is a wider problem in society where fast food, and let's call it junk food, let's call it for what it is. It's too addictive because of the three S's that you previously mentioned. Um, the most problematic part about this is its convenience. It's an extremely fast meal. Some people don't have enough time for 10 minutes.
I can just order it right now. It's gonna be at my doorstep in 20 minutes.
Yeah, even if you're going to the restaurant and you want to sit down, we'll call it a chain, right? You go sit down. You don't even sit down to order. You stand, you wait for it, and then it's provided to you, right? Within a very short amount of time.
Two,
Whereas
3 minutes.
whereas if you wanted a more substantial meal, you would have to go in and wait maybe 10, 15 minutes for that. And then people are too obsessed with instant gratification. And that's what
Yeah, that's
this
true.
food gives you. It gives you gratification in the moment, even though the long term effects of it, which your body would probably reject if it's just taken at a purely biological level, is being overshadowed by the fact that this bit of food is extremely convenient, and it feeds into all of my addictive urges, which are the salts and the sugars and the fats. So when you look at the problem again in Nauru, they had no choice. You could call it a
They were fucked. I'm sorry. Let's call it as it is. They were fucked. They got their land destroyed, and now all they have is fast food. They got. For lack of a better word, they got fucked.
yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, but there's no other word to describe it. They got fucked by greedy corporations going into the land and mining and destroying their land, right?
Yeah.
Hey, okay. If you can bring up the website, ourworldindata.org. Um, if let's before we talk about fast food and all of that, let's go down to the second or third. Is it third? Hang on. Let's go to the fourth. Obesity in adults, 2016. Do you see the chart?
Obesity in adults,
It's the fourth chart.
2016. Yes.
Okay. If you go back to 1975, if you scroll with that wheel down there
Yeah.
to 1975, you can see that in the United States and Australia and the United Kingdom, which I think they're all Western countries, they're all influenced by fast junk food right now, right? Like they have a lot of that. Back then, it wasn't that mainstream. Sure, you had fast food and stuff, but most people they didn't use seed oils to cook. They used butter, they used animal fat, they used lard, right? And then after that, if you go from 1975 up to 2016, in the United States alone, right, they had 12% obese adults in the year 1975. And if you go all the way to 2016, that number goes up to almost 38%. Within, what is it? Is it like 40, 50 years? Within 50 years, you had population of obese people tripled. I'm sorry, I failed math. Is it tripled? I think it's tripled.
Well, you're going from 11 to 37. Yeah. Even a bit more than
It's
tripled.
it's a bit more than tripled, right? And all of that happened from 1975 to 2016. Now ask yourself a question: Why? Why did more people become obese suddenly and just all of a sudden? There has to be a cause, right? I know what the cause is. The three S's and junk food, right? They give you this junk food, and the United States is criminal in these things, right? They're criminal in promote. Dude, imagine they wanted to get people vaxxed back when COVID was still a thing. It's like, yeah, come get your vaccination, you get a free donut. So, what? Really? Like, aren't we supposed to be concerned with health? So we're gonna what's going on in here? Especially when 40% of the population is obese. Do you really want to give them donuts to get a shot?
What is also a factor in this is, have you seen the differences in portion sizes between 50 years ago in the United States and today? The portion
Actually,
size has
no.
almost doubled.
The portion size is almost really because I don't know about in the United States, but here in Lebanon, I don't know, man. But McDonald's burgers keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, so and more expensive. So maybe I don't know. I'm not sure about that, about the portion sizes. But if you know something about that, then I think you should share. Hey, Kitty.
So, the average restaurant meal is 4 times larger than it was in the 1950s.
Really?
In fact, 96% of entrees at chain restaurants exceed dietary guidelines for sodium, fat, and saturated fat per meal.
What have I told you? The three S's. Well, they're missing sugar. See, sugar you can't put sugar in everything, but
You get it from your sugary beverages, like your Coke.
not just that, not just yeah, that and sauces like barbecue
Mm.
sauce, ketchup, stuff like that. It has added sugar in it. Um, wait, so you're telling me that meal portions have quadrupled in the last how many years?
60 years, 70 years.
which is like this makes like the data makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, of course. Now, this troubles me. This actually really, really like pisses me off, and let me tell you why. Because halfway across the earth from the United States is Africa, right? And in Africa, unfortunately, people their portion sizes have not quadrupled. They've been cut. They've been cut in half, if not more, right? And so you're
Yeah.
telling me, I'm sorry, but if you're fat, I'm sorry, I might be like, I might be being a bit harsh, but if you're fat, remember that there are some people starving to death, right? So that extra meal that you had, that your body didn't really need, that could have been eaten by someone who actually is hungry. I don't think as a 20 now I started losing weight when I was 24, 23, 24. By the time I was 25, 26, I settled in to the weight that I needed to be at. And I don't think that as a person who's 25 or older, I don't think there is a reason for you. There's no reason for you to stay overweight or to be fat. There's no excuse, right? I'm sorry, but like, oh, I can't. I can't cook my meals. I have to eat fast food. Or excuses. I'm sorry, but like, you know what they say about excuses, right? They're like buttholes. Everyone's got one, and they all stink.
Oof.
Right? Excuses are just, I'm sorry, no excuses. Just say that you're weak and you just can't. And I'm not trashing you. Careful. You need to identify with your drives or whatever the fuck. You need to identify. You need to say, okay, hey, I cannot stop eating. When you identify that, you're halfway there. But most people are like, nah, it's fine. I'll have a burger right now, even though I'm like 50 or 60 or 70 pounds overweight. I'll have a burger now and I'll have a burger. It's fine. It's all good. It's fine. Fat activists are starting to drop like flies. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Speaking of the fat
Nothing at all.
activists, you've got a
Oh yeah, can you pull that up? Yeah, 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 yeah. Pull that
article
one up.
from the Mail. This is healthy. Listen, I don't think so. But standards of beauty, right? Standards of beauty have changed over the years. I'm all for accepting that, and I'm all for accepting some people have medical conditions where they can't lose weight and they shouldn't fit, and not everyone should be a size zero. Not everyone can be a size
No,
zero. Body structure, bone
no.
structure, etc. But I think I draw the line at celebrating someone's reluctance.
Unhealthy habits.
We don't know whether this is led by not eating healthy or whether it's led by other factors. I'm not going to judge people right off the bat, but what I can say is there is a correlation between being overweight and being unhealthy. It's a correlation. I'm an economist, that's what I deal with, but that's what I see.
Numbers and facts.
Numbers and facts, yes. So you can see dead at 42, dead at 33, dead at 28, dead at 37.
They're all young. Like,
They
oh,
are.
they're young. It's such a shame. And they're promoting, ah, yeah, it's fine. This guy who died, the guy in the poster, he was like, I think he died right about posting his in the last video. He was eating like a Fruit Loop the size of my head, right? And then he just passed out. Just passed out. He just passed away. I mean, it's right there. It's
It's in front of you.
right there. It's right there.
I want to make it clear to the audience that we are not fat shaming. We are fat in
Oh, I'm fat
discouraging.
shaming.
I'm fat
I'm fat
discouraging,
shaming.
right? And I have a right to do so because I was there. I
Same here.
was.
I was fat once. I was double the size. I was double. I showed you a picture. I'll post it again. Boom. There you go. I was fat. I can talk about this. I have a fat pass. Okay, it's right on my phone with the picture that I took or my mother took, which it's a picture of me eating, by the way. Yeah, I know. figure that, right? Like I have a pass, and I'm sorry, but I did it. I went from 130 to 70 kilos, right, within the span of a year and a half. You can do it too. Take 2 years, take 3 years. It doesn't matter as long as you're losing incrementally, right? Slowly. As long as you're losing slowly, one kilogram a week,
That's not
five
slowly, by the
kilograms
way.
a month.
That's not slowly. That's quite fast.
Really,
That's
dude? I
that's the
lose
healthy weight. If you really want to focus on losing weight, losing 1 kilogram a week is the healthy amount that you should be losing. And
one kilogram a
you're
week.
saying
Okay,
you went from 130 to 80 within like a year. That's a kilogram a week.
it
That's
was
healthy weight loss.
70
Oh yes, still healthy-ish weight loss. But if it was more than a year and a half, it's healthy, right?
probably.
But
I'm not quite sure. I remember, but
there's
it
a
was
method,
long
right? If you're gonna starve
time ago.
yourself, then you're going to be losing a lot of water weight and you're going to be feeling tired and fatigued all the time. But if you're working out, building muscle, which would increase your weight actually, but also losing the fat that is the undesirable body weight while exercising, etc. That's good. That's good.
Hmm. Um, I also want to bring up one more thing about vegetable and seed oils, right?
Yeah.
I think we should have talked about this before, but I'll bring it up now, no problem. Um, we did mention that before the 1950s, people used animal fat and lard to cook their meals, right?
Yeah.
And after a while, big corporations are at it again,
Of course.
if you can guess. And they're like, no, lard is bad. Fat is bad. Animal fat, we're going to be vegans soon. So let's just get rid of that, right? Seed oil, boom, on the fucking table, everywhere in the supermarket. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but seed oil tastes so fucking bad. It has to be burned for it to taste the way it tastes now. They burn it, they overheat it. I don't know how the thing works, but they basically burn the bad taste out of it, and that's what you're left with is the vegetable oil. Use olive oil. Keep using butter. Butter is fine. Not a lot, but it's better than seed oils. Because as we said, seed and vegetable oils, they make you more hungry. They're linked to high blood pressure, which if you go back to that our first website at ourworldanddata.org
Yeah.
and you go to the deaths by risk factor, right? And you go all the way down to 1990 and then all the way up to 2019. You can see that high blood pressure
Yes.
didn't double, almost doubled, right? Why is that? What causes high blood pressure? Animal, sorry, not animal, vegetables and seed oils. Where's the upside? Okay, high blood pressure, almost doubled. I think, and I'm just speculating here, I think that's because of the oils we use. We swapped. See, here's the thing. Here's the misconception. People tell you, no, fat is bad. Fat is bad. Fat causes high blood pressure. Yet, fat consumption all throughout the world has decreased over the last 50 years, and vegetable and seed oils consumption has increased. There it is. It's on the graph in front of you. Okay.
Yeah. When you look at the
Um.
the rest of the things on the graph, I think a lot of them are linked to obesity, even though obesity is number, what is that, 5 on the list in 2019.
Yep.
The high blood pressure linked to obesity, high blood sugar linked to obesity, high cholesterol, I think that's linked to
Linked
obesity.
to obesity.
Well,
Yep.
although there are some cases where that's not the case. Alcohol use linked to obesity. Unsafe sex not linked to obesity.
It's actually like I don't. I actually think that this is exactly the opposite of linked, but
Exactly.
I digress.
Yeah. Anyway, low physical activity linked to obesity, right? So there's a lot of things here that point to the same direction, which is if you are not living a healthy lifestyle, obesity is going to be a byproduct of that, and vice versa. Where if you are obese, then it's more likely that you are living an unhealthy lifestyle.
It is more unlikely, and that's true. Some people have conditions, right?
Yeah,
And which is why if I see a fat person on the street, I'm not gonna like go up to them and tell them, "Hey, you need to do a diet." I don't care. I'm like, I do care. Careful. I do care, but I'm not gonna do that because A, I don't know the person. Two, it could be something else. It could be like a real health implication that they're going through. Like it could be a thyroid thing. It could be many, many things, right?
with obesity, there's an amount of people that are obese because of genetics, but there's been studies to show that as even if you have obese genes, it doesn't mean you're going to be destined to be fat. So I'm going to highlight this paragraph down here. What's increasingly clear is that many people who carry these so-called obesity genes do not become overweight, though I did, and healthy lifestyles can counteract these genetic effects. So
Exactly. So at the end of the day, you can't say that, oh, it's just my genes. My genes, they're bad. That's why I'm fat. I can't control it. Nah, you can't control it. You can't control it by eating healthy. And by cooking your own meals, you can't control it.
this was the Jaded podcast. His name was Jad.
And who are you?
My name was Ed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
What do you mean? What? That was the most cringe ending I've ever seen, man. Holy
People
shit.
deserve people deserve change.
They deserve good change, not crap change. Jesus
Fuck
Christ.
you, man.